I'm joined by Bertie Green, our principal security architect here at Clutch Solutions. Bertie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, John.
As we all know, it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Obviously, a hot topic this time of year, but also the entire year. You can't go through a conversation a day without talking about cybersecurity in some capacity. Can you give us a snapshot of where you feel cybersecurity is at in 2024? What are the trends you're seeing? What are you kind of seeing from the front lines?
Sure. In my opinion, cybersecurity is always going to be relevant because it's corollary to technological advancement. So we're always going to see increased complexity, ironically, when we're trying to make things simpler, more automated. So many tools of convenience can become dangerous weapons in the wrong hands kind of thing. So I think that's just always going to be the case. I don't think it'll surprise anyone. AI has been the most prevalent topic driving questions and goals. A lot of what we're seeing is the malicious actors are taking advantage of these tools as much as they can. They don't have the same rules and questions we do as a culture, and with laws and infosec policies already set at organizations. So a lot of that is happening now. A lot of questions are being asked. So I am enthused, though, seeing how we're using AI to help us as defenders. One of the tools I think is really cool is Purple AI from SentinelOne, which is basically a chatbot function to teach SOC analysts how to do advanced functions when they're new to the role. So teaching people like that is a very cool way to leverage generative AI.
You touched a bit on education there. People talk about, we have the latest and greatest AI functionality and detection and network monitoring, but obviously we've all seen the stats of it's actually, the personal touch is where your cybersecurity is going to be at fault. How do we keep the focus on cybersecurity awareness, but keep it kind of fresh and not just, hey, it's the same 20 slide deck that you're reviewing every 6 months to make sure you're not clicking on bad links? Is there something we can do to make that a little bit more interactive, or things you've seen in the market that can be a little more engaging?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think more than anything right now, the biggest thing that organizations can do is have the conversations. I think a lot of the stronger leaders I've seen just in technology in general, they're embracing the topic. Whether it contextually makes sense for their organization or their people is another question entirely, but they're not afraid to engage the topic and do the due diligence. If AI makes sense for their organization, build it into the fabric of your company, build infosec policy around it, build process, build training. So I think a lot of it, as you said, is people-based right now. And really it kind of reminds me of, it's kind of a tangential story, but there was a church that I went to when I was in California, and that church talked about creationism and the Big Bang Theory and how they actually supported each other. And that was an off topic to talk about at church, but what they said was really impactful to me. If we don't talk about it here, you go searching for answers out there. And so I feel the same way about AI, is we should be embracing and talking about that. Otherwise, people are going to go find their own answers to this, and they may not be accurate. They may not be contextual.
You spoke a little bit about kind of bad actors not having to follow the same rules, infosec frameworks, etc. They're kind of acting a lot of the times individually, but they form groups and etc. It's become a bit of an arms race. How do we kind of keep one step ahead if we're dictating the rules of the game, but then the bad actors aren't following the rules? It seems like a pretty unfair back and forth. So how do we kind of stay ahead, but also make sure that we're also being followed in going ahead?
Great. Another great question. Personal belief, I don't think we can be ahead. And I think there's a little bit of a reality of our job is to basically make assessments of where things are going and try to put protections in place. There's a balance being between proactive and reactive security. And so I think in this case, just understanding that malicious actors now have ability to be quicker because they have generative AI, we have to build that into our thought process, into our defense. So it's not about being ahead. I always kind of say we want to be like Wolverine. We want to heal quick. That's what we're looking for.
What are you seeing currently are kind of the common pain points from customers? Is it a lack of education? Is it a lack of technology? Are they having a hard time implementing, brand new infrastructures or frameworks or new software? What are kind of the common themes you're seeing?
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably break that into two. And it's oversimplified, but break it into two. There are people who have fantastic tools. Sometimes the customers that I'm meeting with that work with Clutch, they have the best tools on the market, in my perspective. And it's more about operationalizing those tools and making sure you're getting the most out of them. Some of these tools are not being used to their full extent, like remote protection and things like that. So I think making sure you are taking advantage of tools is one group. The other group is kind of living a bit in the past, and not because they are not forward thinking, but their business has never really required them to be on the cutting edge, but they're now being forced to kind of make that evolution, I guess I would say. So legacy endpoint protection, not having 24/7 eyes on screen, making sure you have a security framework in place so your organization has a common language. Those are the kind of things I feel like we're doing. So very advanced stuff and also very simple stuff at the same time.
All right, I've picked your brain a bit here, but I have a question that I'm hoping doesn't stump you, but I want you to make a bold prediction about cybersecurity, let's say over the next 5 years. Where are we going to be 5 years from now, in your opinion?
Okay. That's a good question. I think generative AI will be more commoditized, adopted. I think a lot of the fly-by-nights that are trying to create businesses out of cloud infrastructure and building AI tools, they're going to go away by that point. We'll be able to flush out who's real and who isn't. Those artificial intelligence features are going to be baked into products, and it's not going to be flash in the pan anymore. So improved efficacy, leveraging AI, log analysis improvements with AI, helping new users like Purple AI with Sentinel-1. Though those things are going to be common at that point. I think we'll have a new fangled toy, a new pretty toy by then. It was NFTs and blockchain for a bit. AI's taken over. There will be another thing in 5 years.
Fantastic. And my last question, I just got a text from my boss to go buy him some gift cards. Should I follow through with that?
No, that's absolutely a perfect example of AI being used. The amount of spam messages has gotten pretty ridiculous. So be vigilant out there. Always double check who's messaging you. If people aren't texters, probably not your boss.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Bertie.
Thank you.
Take care.